today I am going to discuss about the medical surgical nursing and unit 1 oncology nursing. In this we are going to discuss about the nursing procedures. So nursing procedures, there while doing the nursing procedures, some of the guidelines you should maintain. So in this first one is vein selection. If the nurse is going to keep the cannula to the patient, so nurse has to maintain the guidelines. So in this first one, vein selection. So while keeping the cannula, there is a vein selection will be there. So first we should select the large vein in the forearm. So we can select the large vein in the forearm and avoid veins in the hand and wrist. So we can avoid the veins which are present in the wrist and hand. The vein should not be selected, and which are present in the forearm, the vein should be selected. And antecubital area. Antecubital area means there is a folding hand. So there is a folding area. Antecubital area means there is a folding area. So between this folding area, we should not select the vein. So while keeping the cannula, after keeping, the patient is not able to fold the hand. So because of this, we should not select the antecubital area. The patient is not able to fold the hand. So only always we can select the large vein, and it is only present at the forearm. Vein selection, there is a large vein in the forearm and avoid veins in the hand and wrist and antecubital area. Antecubital area means there is a folding area in the hand, and that area should not be selected for the vein selection. And next one is venipuncture site. Venipuncture site. Start an IV infusion with a normal saline or 5% dextrose with a small lumen short needle or catheter. So venipuncture site. So by the small lumen short needle or the catheter, we can puncture the vein, and by the puncture of the vein, after that we can start the IV infusion with a normal saline. So after the short needle has and the catheter can be kept into the vein, and after that venipuncture, and we can start the IV infusion, that is normal saline or the 5% dextrose. So we can administer the IV infusion after the venipuncture. There is a normal saline or the 5% dextrose can be administered to the patient. And there is a venipuncture proximal to this IV route and have not been performed previously. Avoid areas of hematoma, phlebitis and inflammation. So while doing the venipuncture, the vein should be selected proximally. So the vein should not puncture previously. The vein should be selected for the first time, and that should not be punctured previously. So the venipuncture proximal to this IV route and have not been performed previously. So the venipuncture should not do previously. The first time the vein should be selected for the venipuncture. And avoid areas of hematoma. And hematoma means there is a bleeding. If the bleeding is present at the area, and we should not do the venipuncture. And phlebitis, if the inflammation of the vein become present, so we should not do the venipuncture. So immediately we can remove the needle. So if the patient will have the phlebitis means there is a inflammation of the vein. So because of this inflammation, the patient may get the pain. So because of this phlebitis, the venipuncture should not do, and immediately the needle has to be removed. And next one is inflammation. So if the venipuncture if you are doing properly means there is no inflammation. If the venipuncture is not doing correctly, the needle is not corrected in the vein, so there causes a inflammation. inflammation. It causes the inflammation. If the needle is not in the vein, it causes the inflammation. So immediately we can remove the needle. So venipuncture site means there is a start an IV infusion with a NS or the 5% dextrose with a small lumen short needle or catheter. By the needle or the catheter we can do the venipuncture. After the venipuncture we can administer the normal saline or 5% dextrose. And the proximal to this IV route have not been performed previously. So which are selected the vein, that vein should not be previously performed the venipuncture. So venipuncture does not previously done, that vein has to be selected for the venipuncture. If the patient having any hematoma or phlebitis, inflammation of the vein and inflammation present at the site of the vein, and we should remove the needle immediately and venipuncture should not do. And next one is intactness of vein. Intactness means there is a damage to the vein, so we should not damage the vein. Intactness of vein. So to ensure that the vein is intact, check for blood return after IV puncture. So we should see for the vein has any damage occur in the vein, or the vein should be normal or not. We can see in the intactness of the vein. To ensure that the vein is intact, check for the blood return after IV puncture. So after the needle has inserted, the cannula has inserted into the vein, so we should check for the blood has returned into the cannula or not. We can see in the intactness of vein before infusing chemotherapeutic agents. So before any administration of chemotherapeutic medications, and we can see for the blood has to be returned into the IV infusion or not. So we can see in the intactness of vein. If the blood has to be returned into the IV puncture, so we can administer the chemotherapy agent. So intactness of vein means there is a undamage to the vein. We should check for the any damage has occurred. We should not do any damage to the vein. So it is the intactness of vein. Next one is vascular assist device. There is a vascular assist device being used in the initial treatment when drugs, fluids and antibiotics are given and frequent blood sampling is required. So in this vascular assist device can be used for the treatment of drugs. So there is a administration of drugs or fluids or antibiotics are given by the vascular assist device. It is one of the device. By this device we can administer the drugs and fluids and antibiotics for the initial treatment, and frequent blood sampling is required. So while taking the blood sample also we can use the vascular assist device. So by this we can collect the blood sample also. There is a vascular assist device. There is a being used in the initial treatment when drugs, fluids and antibiotics are given and frequent blood sampling is required. There is a vascular assist device. Now next one is push or bolus method. Push or bolus method. It is if a drug is to be given by bolus method, push the drug slowly in small increments with a pause of 30 to 60 seconds between each push. So there is a push or bolus method. It is a drug is to be given by the bolus method. So the drug is given by the bolus method means the push the drug slowly in a small increments. The pushing of the drug in a small increments, there is a for 30 to 60 seconds can be administered between each push. So between each push the medicine has to be administered in a small quantities. So if the 10 ml of medicine we have taken, means only some of the medication should be administered, and 20 to 30 seconds can be time maintained between the each push. So each push we can maintain the sum of the 30 to 60 seconds between the each push, and in a small increments we can administer the medications to the patient, and check the blood returns after the push. So after the pushing of the blood has come return into the cannula or not, we can check. So if the blood has returned into the cannula, and we can administer the total medicine slowly and administer, check the vein for the blood return and connect IV fusion to flush the vein. So after total administration of medication, and we can connect the IV infusion to flush the vein. So after administration of medicine, there is a blood is coming into the return into the cannula or not, we have to check. And if blood is coming into the return into the cannula, and we can connect the IV infusion to flush the vein. So it is a push or bolus method. There is a medication administration can be in a bolus form, and there is a gap between the each push, means there is a small quantities of medicine can be administered, and each medicine there is a 20 to 30 seconds can be every each push. And next one is local reaction. So in this local reaction, stop IV infusion immediately if the patient complains of irritation or pain at the site of insertion. So in this local reaction, the nurse has to see for the nurse has to be see for the local reaction. If the patient is having any reaction about the drug, and the nurse has to be stop infusion immediately. And there is a complaints of irritation or pain at the site of insertion if having reaction, dyspnea or tachycardia, hypotension, there is a urticaria. Urticaria means there is a itching of the skin. So if there is a complaints of dyspnea and tachycardia and hypotension and urticaria and shock. So because of this complication, the nurse has to stop the fluids immediately. And there is a, if the patient is having dyspnea, means there is a breathing difficulty or the tachycardia, the heart rate can be increased, and the hypotension, the BP can be decreased, the blood pressure has to be decreased, and the patient undergone into the shock. So because of the low circulation, there is a, the patient undergone into the shock. So there is a decreased blood supply to the brain, and the patient will be gone into the shock. It is called as shock. And urticaria means there is a skin itching. And there is a, if the patient is having shock, and raise the foot end of the bed. If the patient having shock, and we can elevate the foot end of the bed. And next one is start IV infusion. So we can start the IV infusion to the patient. So we can maintain the blood pressure normally by infusing the IV saline. Next one is administer the IV corticosteroids and the antihistamines. So if the patient is having any inflammation or the any itching, we can administer the antihistamines and the corticosteroids. So we can administer the IV corticosteroids and antihistamines. So if the patient is having any inflammation, or we can administer the corticosteroids and antihistamines if the patient having any allergy and skin rashes, and we can administer the antihistamines. So next one is monitor all vital signs. So because of this reaction, there is a changes occur in the vital signs. So because of this, the nurse has to be check the vital signs. So the nurse has to be monitor the all vital signs and next inform the doctor. So after that reaction, the nurse has to be immediately informed to the doctor. So there is a local reaction means stop IV infusion immediately if the patient complains of irritation or pain at the site of insertion if having reaction. So at the site of insertion, if the patient is having any reaction, immediately the nurse has to be disconnect the infusion. So immediately stop the IV infusion. And there is a local reaction includes the become dyspnea, there is a breathing difficulty, tachycardia and hypotension and urticaria. So it is the local reaction. And if the patient having inflammation, we can administer the corticosteroids, and if the patient having itching, we can administer the antihistamines. Next one is monitor all vital signs and inform the doctor. Next one is extravasation. So in this extravasation, if the drug is leakage and stop the infusion. Extravasation means the leakage can be occurred from the cannula. So if the leakage has occurred and the nurse has to be stop the medicine infusion immediately and look for signs of edema and pain. So if the patient having any edema, swelling, edema means there is a swelling, or if the complaints of pain, so the nurse has to be stop the infusion immediately and stop IV infusion immediately. So extravasation means there is a leakage of the drug. So the nurse has to be check for the any leakage from the cannula. So the nurse has to be immediately stop the infusion. So it is the extravasation. The nursing procedures includes the extravasation. So it is the nursing procedures. So it is, thank you.